Dallas game day here. Cowboys Nation, I just read some major tell you why this matters news about our defense, and you're going to want to hear every line because this could swing the season. So let me walk you through what's going on, what they've done already, what they could do, and why I actually believe the Cowboys can fix what's looked broken and maybe even turn it into something fearsome. They say Dallas has a talent-deficient defense, and sure, there's truth to that after trading away Micah Parsons just before the season. That move left a hole, an edge rush hole, a leadership hole, a pressure on quarterbacks hole. But Cowboys aren't just standing there. They've been aggressive. They signed Jadeveon Clowney, a veteran pass rusher and disruptive force. They also brought back Dante Fowler Jr., added Solomon Thomas, Peyton Turner, built depth and rotation at the defensive front. These moves aren't just patchwork, they're giving Dan Quinn and this new-look staff options. Still, even with those moves, there are real weaknesses. Their pass defense is behaving like an open invitation some games. Through 2 games, they rank around 30th in EPA per play allowed through the air. That is to say, teams are picking apart the coverage. Even though run defense has improved, they aren't quite in last anymore. The aerial assaults are still giving up big gains. David versus Goliath plays are happening too often. Secondary injuries aren't helping. Deron Bland is injured. Trevon Diggs' health is always a concern. There's no denying it. The pressure isn't consistent enough, the secondary isn't locking down, and the defense feels like it's holding on by duct tape and grit right now. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There are rumors and real talks about Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. He's been on the trade block, or at least in a contract standoff. He's playing under a rework deal for 2025, but still kind of unsettled, and people around the league believe he could be moved, especially if teams smell opportunity. So, putting 2 and 2 together, Dallas has the draft capital, some cap space still, a hole at pass rush and edge pressure, and a history of not being afraid to pull the trigger. This team has traded for Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Jonathan Mingo. They've been bold before. Combine that with what Clowney is doing. He adds veteran savvy, disrupts the pocket, sets the edge versus the run, even when he's not getting sacks. He changes things. Also, Fowler's return, the rotation, the youthful pieces getting reps. These give Dallas flexibility. Depth matters when injuries hit. The Cowboys know this. And let's not forget, Hendrickson isn't just a name, he's a proven, productive pass rusher who would immediately elevate this unit. He might not be Micah Parsons, but he's not far off in terms of disruption and pressure consistency. If the Bengals, who are likely to be without Joe Burrow for most of the year, are in sell mode, Dallas should be on the phone right now. So, here's my conclusion. The Cowboys can salvage this defense, and they already are on the path. If they pull off a trade for Hendrickson or someone of similar quality, or otherwise upgrade the pass rush more aggressively, it could transform the defense from a weak link into a secret weapon. With Clowney, Fowler, young guys stepping up, depth in the secondary when healthy, and a front that can generate pressure, they have all the tools. It won't be instant perfection, there will be growing pains, but there's a real shot here that we're watching a defense reborn. The coaching staff is adjusting, the front office is active, and the core of this team still believes. Dallas game day verdict? I believe the Cowboys are trending up. The offense has its strengths, the roster has pieces, the front office is working. If the defense starts getting consistent pressure, tightens up coverage, stays healthy, we could be looking at a team that not just returns to the playoffs, but makes some noise. What I want from you, Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Is Hendrickson the missing piece? Do you trust Clowney to hold up? Can the secondary stop getting carved up? Drop your thoughts, smash that like if you believe in this defense, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next update.